you brought this to my attention. Um, you brought this to my attention. This is a weird story. So, um, DJ Academics is currently in the middle of a internet back and forth tug of war with Saucy Santana. I'm not gonna give you the background on who Saucy Santana is. If you don't know who Saucy Santana is, look, look him up.
Look, they
Um,
them up.
whatever. Yeah.
uh,
Look up Saucy Santana. But Saucy Santana and DJ Academics are in the middle of a back and forth on the internet because uh, DJ Academics made some remarks and Saucy Santana got back at him. And, DJ Academics is like, come pull up to my headquarters in Jersey. And Saucy Santana's like, no, we not pulling up and blah, blah, blah. And DJ Academics got into, you know, how he wants to respond in a certain type of way, but feels as though he'll get canceled because he'll be perceived as somebody who's anti-LGBTQ. And that's where Queen Latifah comes in, because Queen Latifah took exception to the fact that LGBTQ content or commentary is where DJ Academics draws the line. So we'll provide some context via this story from Complex. It says here, DJ Academics and Saucy Santana's beef got so messy, even Queen Latifah got involved. Queen Latifah seemingly endorsed a message criticizing DJ Academics' response to Saucy Santana's recent threats. On her Instagram stories, Latifah shared a post from Bronx rapper slash activist My Son addressing the feud following Academics' admission that he is scared of responding to Saucy Santana, who is proudly open about his sexuality. So this is what Queen Latifah said in reference to DJ Academics being apprehensive about responding to Saucy Santana. It's crazy to me how DJ Academics is crying scared to say anything to Saucy Santana because he's a gay man and he's scared of getting canceled, but has said some of the most outlandish, vile, disrespectful, and demeaning things to black women with absolutely no fear whatsoever. Brings me back to Malcolm X's quote: "The most disrespected, protected, and neglected person in America is the black woman." Um, so actually, that was my son's comments, and Queen Latifah was just kind of reposting that.
mhm.
My son added more of his thoughts on Instagram this morning, posting an image that read, "For the record, Saucy Santana is way more man than Academics," along with a lengthy caption. The feud between Santana and Academics boiled over recently after the rapper told the podcaster to pull up to Young Miami's Halloween party after Academics alleged that the City Girls rapper called him a homophobic slur. Academics also name dropped Saucy Santana because the rapper is very close friends with Miami. Blah, 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 blah. So Queen Latifah clearly endorses my son's remark that Academics all of a sudden wants to draw the line at making comments towards Saucy Santana, but he has no problem demeaning black women. So once again, black women always get the short end of the stick, I guess is the central point. Where were all of the boo birds when Academics was going off on black women? Y'all should come to black women's defense. And why wouldn't Academics care more about these comments when he didn't care about what he had to say about black women? Penny, for your thoughts on Queen Latifah's stance with all of this.
I mean, I tend to agree. Um, yeah, he draws a line there, and the reason being is, well, there is cancel culture, and cancel culture is very serious. And right now, the thing that you cannot say is anything slanderous towards the LGBT community. If you do that, all right, you're done, man. And he's not on the part of the food chain where he's not going to feel the impact of that. If he say something the wrong way, that can mess up a lot of endorsements or potential things that he could have coming down the line. And this is the kind of industry kind of guy that's going to need to rely on those types of outlets. So by him actually doing that, no, he would get canceled. So, but this is just somebody following the rule brick in school. This isn't more of a malicious type of thing. I'm sure he would like to slander him and the LGBT community. I'm sure he would love to do that. But the thing is that is there an a social infrastructure that's created that protects black women, like that protects the LGBT community? The answer is no. All right. So now, not unless you are a white man. Now, if you're a white man and you say something about black women, yeah, bro, you're gonna lose your job, potentially. But black people can say and
or
do
or
whatever.
or a woman, Rachel
Yeah.
Nichols,
Yo,
and
yeah.
Rachel Nichols didn't even say nothing bad. She just expressed an opinion, and ESPN fired
That's
her.
right. That's right. And so, yeah, so same thing. So, nah, I mean, there's cancel culture for them. And so white people will sit there and do the same thing and slander their own people upside down, but as soon as it comes to a black person and they don't agree, I like him. I just don't agree with his policies. Yeah. All of a sudden they have to do all this tap dancing because they
Yeah.
don't want to get fired or lose their radio job or anything like that. So Academics is in the same boat. So this isn't more or less shame on black people, more or less. This is you have to acknowledge the social infrastructure that's been created, that's built up this social censorship where people are auto correcting themselves before they even speak. And that's more or less what we're experiencing. But there isn't a rule against black men saying that against black women or against black men. That's not a rule. Until the community creates that same social rule. Hey, man, we ain't talking about our sisters like that. Or hey, bro, we ain't talking about our brothers like that. Until we do that, well, then that's not really going to be a thing. Uh, the institutions that have this kind of power to make that kind of social change are the corporations and the industries that are printing the news, if you will. The ones that's giving us the headlines, the ones that control the media outlets. Those are the ones that's controlled, and the school systems and the colleges. They're the ones that's teaching us the new forms of social understanding and social awareness, and they're carving that out. But these are not part of the rule sets, so it's going to happen. So, I'm glad that somebody called it out, because he does go in on black women, very aggressively, you know. And yeah, but again, it's to protect his job on the back end for why he's not saying something else. So what about you, man? How do you feel about this whole thing? Do you agree with the statements or that Queen Latifah agrees with?
Yeah. I think so. LGBTQ people of Jewish descent,
Mm-hmm.
and black people are protected species.
Mm-hmm.
Not black women specifically, but black people as a whole
Mm-hmm.
are one of the three protected species in America, meaning that if you make any comments about anyone who comes from that group, you're going to have to do a very good job of making it very clear that you are not criticizing their heritage in any kind of way, because you are going to have to deal with people who are going to infer from your comments that you are a hater of that group of people. Um, so like I say, yeah, I don't think black women are protected from I don't think black women specifically have that social infrastructure in place to protect them from that. But I think that they fall in line within the umbrella of being a protected species within black people.
Yeah, yeah.
Because yeah, in corporate America, in politics, in sports, it doesn't matter where you look, if you say anything about a black person that's disparaging, you're going to have to figure out a way to make it clear that you don't hate black people.
Mm-hmm.
Lest you, or you're going to get fired or anything like that. And I do think that the other two, in my opinion, the other two protected species are people of Jewish descent, LGBTQ people. Can't say anything about those people. You got to be very careful with that. So from that standpoint, Academics is right. You can't, he's I don't want to necessarily say that he's smart. You got to be smart in some kind of way to get to where he's gotten, even if you're nothing but a gas bag on the internet. But be but be that as it may, he's conscientious enough to be aware of the fact that you say something about an LGBTQ person, you're going to have to articulate that so well, or else people are going to come for your rack. And so you don't want that smoke. Better to be safe than sorry and just not say nothing at all. So from that standpoint, he's not wrong. He isn't wrong in that regard. However, and the thing with Queen Latifah, I hear what Queen Latifah is saying. Well, not Queen Latifah. I hear what my song is saying, and Queen Latifah just co-signed it. But like, to me, that's a redirect. Like, and I talk about redirects all the time.
That's my son's game, bruh.
Yeah, I know, but it is what it is. Like, bro, no one said that what he was doing with black women or like thereof was okay. Like, no one said that. So my son is making the conversation about black women now. And to me, in my opinion, that's redirecting it from the point that DJ Akademiks originally made, which is I can't say anything about this dude because the LGBTQ people are going to crucify me. And so he's not wrong. Is the central point that my son was making correct? Yeah, it is. But no one was talking about that. We academics just said, hey man, I'm gonna fall back on this LGBTQ stuff because I'll get raked through the coals as a hater if I make any comments, even if I'm right in what I'm saying. So it's one of those situations where no one's wrong necessarily. But I do think that this was an attempt at a redirect, in my opinion, to make the conversation about something different. And it is what it is. I guess we can have all of these side conversations if we want. I will say this, though, about academics' penchant for demeaning black women. That he might have an axe to grind when it comes to black women, but from what I've seen, and this is just my personal opinion, whenever academics is going at a black woman, it's usually one of these ratchet rappers or one of these box rappers. And you might say that this is a problem because black women are just getting disrespected and demeaned left and right. But these chicks are making content and music and expressing themselves artistically in a way in which they demean themselves before any content creator got in front of a microphone and joined in on the chorus to demean them himself. So you can get mad at academics all you want, but listen to Glorilla's music. Like, how is she a great representation for black women in anywhere in the world, let alone in America? And I'm not trying to pick on Glorilla per se. I just know that that's one of the beefs that academics got into, and people felt some type of way because they thought he was getting out of pocket for some of the stuff that he was saying about Glorilla. Okay, well, listen to what she says in her music. This music stuff is an extension of these people's reality. So like we can act like it's no big deal if we want, but this stuff out here today is more or less it has evolved to become real life for a lot of people. And they really glean it to be real life. And they think that the content in the music, because of their access to it through social media and through content in general, has become normalized to the point where they think that this stuff is just regular everyday life. So the musical content of individuals like Glorilla or the rest of these box rappers, who academics talks about on a regular basis in his commentary, the City Girls. He has a beef with one of these City Girl chicks. I don't remember which one it was. It's either JT or Young Miami, whichever one. I don't know, but he has a beef with one of them. Listen to what they say in their songs. Like, in my opinion, you can make the argument that they demean themselves in their music. So they really don't have much of a leg to stand on if they want to call academics out for demeaning black women. I don't know. I haven't seen the last time academics demean some, buttoned up academic black woman. He's talking about these ratchet rappers for the most part. That's what I've seen. So I just kind of think people need to check themselves when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I also get it. Do whatever you can to make sure that you are viewed as an ally. You want to make sure that you have the black women in your corner. I get it. I get it. Make sure that the black women are in your corner, that they view you as an ally. Be a friend to them. They're a powerful friend to have. And so I understand it. But I think that this is a redirect attempt. And I think that there's better examples to point towards than some of these ratchet rappers if we want to spotlight ways that certain people in new media demean and disrespect black women.
Bro, I agree with you, man. I started laughing because, all right, so I agree with the premise because I wouldn't really think about it like that because, well, that's what I do here too. Like whenever we talk about, prostitution rap, I call them slurs and everything.
Right.
I be going in over here. So it's like, yeah, that's part of it. And you saying that, hey, man, this is how they address themselves, and I'm like, yeah, that's facts, bro. Like, yeah, they do be calling us, like, they do say they do this crazy things, eating ass, everything. So, why not? Why not? So, but then I thought about the flip side. Like if there was a white guy who covers hip hop and be like, yeah, these little niggas over here with the, whoa, don't shoot me, Tyrone. Hey, whoa, and you go, hey, man, don't talk up to us like this. What's wrong with this man? Whoa, hey, you don't hear how these guys talk about themselves? Now, I'm not talking about black people. I'm talking about, this rapper right here. I'm talking about
Well,
him.
I hear you, and I see where you're going with this. But when it comes to that point about demeaning black women, I was specifically talking within community. I wasn't talking about
Okay.
anybody. I was specifically talking within community, not anybody else.
I got you. I got you. Because I
Yeah.
thought about that, but I was like, damn, that's kind of wild. If a guy was like, well, don't you hear them? They call themselves like that all the time. Why can't I call them that? Nah, man. Hey, but yeah, and I guess it's just one of those things, man. I've let the B word slip out, while I'm talking about somebody, but I'm not gonna sit there and, whenever I see that person, I'm not gonna sit there and call that person the B word. So it's kind of one of those things where, yeah, in house when you're talking to the chat, it feels like you're at home talking to your homeboys and you just going in. And but people are watching and listening and having a sensitive ear. But you're right, man, that this is, I could see if he was doing this, saying this about every woman, every black woman, but I'm pretty sure he has a cutoff. And it's like, no,
Yeah,
it's
like I don't.
these women.
Yeah, I agree. Like I don't see him saying this about somebody like Angela Rye, or
Mhm.
like like if Academics was going off about women like Angela Rye or somebody else like that, I'd be like, okay, yeah, bro, you taking this shit too far. These chicks talk about the craziest stuff in their songs. Their live performances are, we just talked about Ice Spice last week in the Betty Boop outfit showing all ass. And hey man, look, it is what it is. I like ass just as much as the next guy. I'm just saying, if someone wants to talk about that in a demeaning way, you don't really leave much of a leg to stand on when this is how you present yourself through your work and through your craft and your art. So you just have to take the good with the bad. That's my only point. And it's kind of hard for you to be like, hey, you can't do this kind of thing when this is what you put out there. But again, I'm not talking about the world. I was just speaking within community. I'm not
No.
speaking on,
Right on.
you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah.
And they need to make a skit of that. Somebody make a skit of that. Get canceled for us. I want to see that. uh,
Oh, I hear you, Queen Latifah, but that was a redirect, man. Y'all. But that's the internet these days, man. Everybody has an opinion. What are you gonna do?
that's my son, bro. He gonna get something and ship it right on out. I'm behind you, Black Queens. But by the way, ladies, if somebody's around here calling y'all queens and all this other stuff, hey, don't say I ain't warn you. All right, don't say I ain't warn you. Gee.
Yeah. My son doing his best Umar Johnson impression.